Hi everybody, it's Lisa Steinkoff, the Houseplant Guru. I wish I was more savvy with cameras so I could have a couple so you could see me and then I could pan down to the plants, but I thought you seeing the plants were more important than seeing me, especially with the quarantine. My hair is not looking all that fabulous. That's okay. I'm fine. I did wear my houseplant shirt from MSU Trial Gardens, or just the horticulture gardens at Michigan State University. So thank you for that shirt. I love it. I've had it for a while. All right, so I did a thing about propagating Sansevieria the other day, and some people asked me for some more clarification, so that's what I'm going to do. So all you need to propagate a Sansevieria / Dracaena, now Dracaena, but not my, I can't say it, Sansevieria, snake plant, mother-in-law's tongue, whatever you want to call it, is have a leaf, right? And all you have to do is cut this leaf into approximately 2-inch increments. So now what I also discussed was, all right, so I'm going to cut this leaf. As you can see, this is the top, right? So I'm going to know that. It's going to be obvious to anyone. But if you're cutting from the middle of the leaf, like this is not so obvious. So I'm going to keep the bottom side down. So a way to do it is, I told people I cut a notch out of the top. That's the top. See that? So now you can tell that that is the top. Or, I'm gonna lay that over here. Or you can take your leaf and instead, cut a little bit of a V shape so that when you put it in the potting soil, you know that that side goes down. Oops. So whatever works for you, and then this is the bottom where I cut it off. And so why you're doing that is something called polarity. The roots only come, are going to grow from the bottom side of the leaf. The side that was, closest to the soil, right? The downside. So if I were to plant it this way, it's not going to grow any roots. Also, I'm going to let these sit for a while and callus. You want this end to callus over. Most likely if I put it in this moist potting soil now, with it kind of not calloused over for a couple days, it might rot. So I'm just going to leave them, boom, leave them alone. And so let's say it's now a couple of days later. So then I'm going to take notch side up, and I'm going to, you can either, I'm using my little tweezers. I like these tweezers. You can make a little spot and put it in. And then, so that's one with a notch, so I know it's up. Or if you cut the V, whatever works for you. I got this a little wet. I just moistened this. And then here's the one that obviously is the top, right? So remember, these have calloused over for a few days. I'm not just putting them in here, well, these are fresh, but they wouldn't be if you weren't watching. Okay, so, and I just use a bonsai pot or just any shallow pot or any pot. It doesn't matter. So there you go. Those will all grow. This is moonshine, and it will grow new little moonshine plants. Okay, so that's one way to propagate your plant. All right, I'm going to put this down here. So here's a moonshine that is, root bound. And you can see that, it's hard to tell on this, but see how that is growing a new shoot, and it is literally pushing away from the pot. It is in there tight. So I'm not going to take this one out because it's so big you won't be able to see it. Oh, the sun just came out here in Michigan. I don't know if you can hear the wind. It is so windy out right now. I'm hoping my electricity does not go out, but if it does, that's okay. So this has a new shoot coming, and it is like literally time to repot this plant. So I will show you another one, and I will also show you how to propagate it. So this is a plant I've had, and you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, look how that is literally deforming this pot because it is so root bound. So when I bought it, it was just one plant. So we'll take it out. You may, at one point, you may have to cut it out if it gets so tight. This is kind of dry. This was upstairs in a room that I don't heat in the winter, so I kept it very dry all winter, and it's just now turning to spring. I have watered it a couple times. That's how much water it's been taking up. It's still wet on the bottom, so I'm okay with that. So this was just one plant, right, when I bought it. So now it's grown new babies, and it's starting to, and it's in good light. It's in a west window. Really, snake plants prefer to be in high light if you can. They will tolerate low light, But they would rather be in really, really good sun, and they will deform a pot, bust a pot, whatever. So the other way to propagate them, and I'll show it to you. I'm just gonna up pot this. So I'm gonna pot it, and really this is kind of a deep pot. So I think I might use this really cool cactus and succulent pot I bought. And I will tell you that I did drill a hole in it. It did not have a hole. I could have used it as a cash po. I could have left it in here. Just use it as a cash po if I wanted to. Take it out, water it, let it drain, put it back. But I decided to drill a hole because I want this will give this room a little more, this plant a little more room. And you can use a very, a shallow pot. Look how, they don't really have a ton of root, deep roots, but I'm just going to do this. So, but if I wanted to, I'm just going to clear this off. You can see that, hopefully I can get down to the rhizome and show you. Oh, look, oh, did I just break that off? I think I did. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so there's a new one coming. Look at that. A third one is coming up. So if I wanted to, I could take my knife, take a sharp knife, because these are rhizomes or underground stems in here, and I could cut that off, right? And then I would have another plant with a piece of rhizome. I wish you could see it. I don't really want to cut this apart, I'm sorry. But that's how these plants are, that's how they make more of themselves. They shoot rhizomes out and grow new babies. So look at that, I have another baby coming. So I'm gonna plant that I'm gonna put a piece of screen over the pot, and I'm gonna plant that pot, or this plant, into there without separating. The other thing I talked about was, I know I have a mess, that's okay, is this plant, this had broken off. This is a Sansevieria trifasciata laurenti. See how it has the yellow edge? So that yellow edge is not really, there's no green. Green is what photosynthesizes, right? And the chlorophyll in those cells is what's, where the chlorophyll, or the photosynthesis is happening. So there isn't any in this. So it's not, the reason I left it as a full leaf and didn't plant it, there was another plant in this that passed away, I'm not gonna lie. And there was other pots around it, so I just kind of laid it there and forgot about it. And I'm glad I did, because I can now show you that if you plant a plant, or you would like to propagate this plant, you would have to cut it apart, because this is called a chimera. A chimera is a plant that has, and a Bantel sensation is the same. I took that one back in the house, so I can't show it to you right now, but because I'm out in my sunroom. So, and I'll show you. So it grew a new plant. See, there's that rhizome that I was talking to you about. See that? That's that underground rhizome, a little closer. And it doesn't have the yellow edges because it will not come true from a leaf cutting. So I didn't even bother to cut this into 2-inch increments and grow it unless I wanted more of these without, which is still pretty. It still has the banding, but it's not going to have that yellow edge, which is why most of us buy that one, right? But so if it's a chimera, Bantel sensation, this one, you can start it from those leaf cuttings or one big long leaf. Look at this. I just threw it in there, and now look at that nice root system growing right out of that, growing right out of the edge of that. And because it wasn't planted right away, it was just laid on top. It sent roots out, and then it sent out this rhizome with a new baby on it, but not with the yellow edges. So another one that I have done, I'm out here a lot. It's very full in here, as you can kind of see. I got a lot of plants, and this one, I don't know the name. I said that on my last video. I don't have any idea what it is. It's got a lot of cool, it's kind of like a cylindrica, but it's got dents in it, you know what I mean, or channels. So I broke this off, and so I just kind of literally just like set it in there like that. Just, oh, there it is. Just set it in there, and it did grow roots. And it will be true. It will be a plant that is true to the plant that it was before. Okay, so there's the edge, and it grew those roots just like that. Okay, so here's another one I did. This is fernwood, which I also talked about how when you get these, they're all those, like, I've gotten some from IKEA. It's hard to see this because it's, all right, it's just like these little tips in the pot, like this size. And this is one that broke off. And I just, once again, set it in the soil, kind of forgot about it, boom, and it is growing a root. So now I will plant this up, and I will have another new exact same plant because there's no yellow or any white on this plant. Also, as you can see, I broke another one off. Either I did or Henry's been knocking things out. I don't know if he's out here someplace running around knocking plants over. So I could take this end, which is kind of already callous because I think this looks like it might have happened a while ago. So I'm just going to continue to cut that off. I probably will let it callus a little while, and the thicker the leaf, the longer you probably want to let it callus over. Okay, so then here's this. It's just a little piece, but that's, that's fine. And so I'm just going to take that and, you know, it's probably, I'll probably let it callus over a little while longer. And then I'm just going to stick it in a pot, probably a smaller pot, doesn't matter. Keep the soil or the potting medium kind of moist. And I will have another fernwood to share with somebody. We were supposed to have a plant swap here in Detroit in May, but of course that's postponed, and that's okay. So now's the time to start some plants. So when we're all able to go out again, we can have plants to swap. So I hope that answered any more questions that you had. So to sum it up, you can take a leaf. Whoops, I got it down here. A leaf from your plant, you can cut it up. Remember which end is the top, either a notch on the top or a V shape on the bottom, to make sure that, you know, it's the right way, and so it'll grow roots. Let it callus over. That means just leave it laying there for a couple days, maybe even longer, with a thicker leafed one like this fernwood, and then plant it in some potting medium and wait for those little babies to grow. I'm sorry I can't tell you how long it took, because once again I told you I wasn't really paying too much attention. So and then you can also cut them apart, as in this plant, which has, you know, a new baby coming up on a rhizome, like that rhizome I showed you on here. That's what's happening right now in this plant, is it's sending up a new rhizome. And you can cut those, or a new baby off its rhizomes. You could cut those apart. So I could have I could have 4 plants, but I'd wait for this to get up, because when they're underground, notice how it's white. They're not photosynthesizing. Obviously, there's no sun getting to them, so there's no green in them. So as soon as it gets up above the ground, it will start turning green. Even this, you can see that I just took away some of this potting mix to show you, and the pot was here because it's breaking the pot. You can see that this does not have the color that it will when it gets light. So when this gets up to the surface, it will start get the green colors and the bandings, and be its own little plant, just like these 2 are. But I'm just going to up pot it, just a little bit bigger size pot around, into this pot I love it with this. And remember, drainage hole, always important, diamond tip drill bit. If you have a Bentel Sensation or this Laurenti or any other, there's so many Sansevierias out there now, these stripes will not come true from leaf cuttings. You have to cut the plant apart and each have a plant with its own little rhizome with some roots. Okay? All right, I hope I answered all your questions. Thanks so much for joining me. Stay home, stay safe, and spend some time with your plants. That's what I've been doing. My plants are they don't know what to do with themselves. They're like, wow, I don't even know what to do with all this great consistent watering and wiping down the leaves and washing them and up potting them. They're so happy. Thanks for joining me. Sorry, all you saw was the table, but I thought that would be more important. You guys propagate some plants, get ready for when we can get back out and have some plant swaps or give them to a friend. Thanks so much.